And it looks like Ian had to mulligan. Alright, Kobe is starting off with one of those nice constellation lands from Teros Beyond Death. And does not have the Leafkin Druid. No, comes into play tapped lands either, so that might cost him later in the game. Ginger Brute for Ian. Ian chose to play Ginger Brute, All That Glitters, as a part of his strategy. Kobe, without tap lands, has access to all his mana. Looks like he has a Neo form in hand there. Passes to Kobe, to Ian. We know Kobe as a very patient player, so he's very innately good at playing control decks. What is this guy? P.S. Wayfarer. But he has considered that maybe he should be playing more proactive with this deck. Now we have Leafkin Druid, something he would have liked a lot earlier, I suppose. Keeping red and blue open for interaction. He has made his deck more interactive than most versions play. I don't know why, but my card viewer seems to really disagree with where the card is supposed to be. Okay, Leafkin Druid as a blocker on the Ginger Brute. And ooh, no lands, no nothing from Ian. That's quite unfortunate for him. Ian also playing the Alseid of Life's Bounty, the one you can sacrifice. Alseid Life. As protection, which makes it a bit awkward if they are trying to answer your spell with the same color spell that you're trying to play on it. And again, our card viewer is moving. This is, and now I'm getting commercials. Awesome. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. There we go. Let's hope it stays in position now. In the meantime, Neoform to get a, a Risen Reef and a Scampering Scorchers. So the value engine in this deck online. You get near infinite triggers. And again, the card viewer has shipped. Tommy, thank you very much for liking the stream. Still getting used to the fact that I have new pop-ups because of streaming on Facebook here. So Ian still struggling while Kobe has his engine online. Has found an All That Glitters. So gives +2/+2 now, gets another +1 from the Pious Wayfarer. And a scorching dragonfire to take care of it. Kobe keeping Ian honest and under control and gets his Tassa, which is where Kobe, Ian decides, wow, I keep missing the two players up, decides that it has been enough. So a quick, albeit somewhat unfortunate game one in this first match of the top four. Kobe playing a very slow, methodical game, but because Ian did not manage to put enough offense on the table, had a very poor hand, was both color and mana screwed, stuck on two lands. So an easy game for Kobe to start off this opening match. Our players are sideboarding now, and let's see what they have to bring to the table. For Ian, we see a wide swath of options, from Warbriar Blessing to get some fighting on, Healer's Hogs to get more life gaining, Omen of the Sun for some tokenage, Return to Nature to interact with enchantments. That's not going to be very relevant. Citizen Training for Trample might be good, because Cobra can really fill the board. Revoke Existence to interact. There's only the Tassa. I don't think you want to bring in Revoke Existence, just to interact with one card there. Nexus Wardens is somewhat interesting, not to get pinged away by Scampering Scorcher tokens, and also the Cloudkid Seers. Dreadful Apathy can exile some of the more scary creatures, and we have a Plummet there as well for him. So I'm expecting him to bring in some more interactive cards, like Omen of the Sun is surprisingly good. You can surprise snipe a Risen Reef with it, and it somewhat counters a Scorcher, so that could be a thing here. Kobe, in the meantime, has Negate, Return to Nature, Cosmina's Transmutation, Omen of the Forge, Run Away Together, and Opt. So I expect the Run Away Together, Bounce Spells are pretty good, and the Return to Natures to come in for sure, maybe even the Negates to interact with the more critical auras on the stack. But we'll have to see how this match shapes up. Looks like our players are ready, so let's go back to the overview. Cling, clang, swing, swang. All right, we are on the way for game two of the first match in the top four here. Kobe has won the first game, and we have Healer's Hawk for Ian. So wants to get some invasion on, a good plan against elementals, which is really good at filling up the board. As life gain lands are deciding more of the swings than actual attacks at this point. Heliod's Pilgrim, 2 fetch, an aura of Ian's choosing. Has Hydra's Growth as his most impressive one, and yes, that is the one. He decides to go search. A very strong, incrementally growing creature, quite interesting on the Healer's Hawk. If you can protect it for a little while, it is safe from red-based or damage-based removal. Of course, there should be some Teferi's Time Twists. I think you can cast that on your... No, you can't cast that on your opponent. view control. So Fierce Time Twist will not be able to interact with that Cloudkin Seer. To dig a bit deeper, Ian offers up the trade here. He has Kirametra's Blessing as a pump spell. I find it interesting that Koba would trade with that one here rather than forcing him, because it's clear that he wants to play off the healer song. So I think I would have preferred. Well, he has Scorcher in hand. Citizen Champion in the meantime for Koba. For Ian, why do I keep messing these players up? And thrashing Brontodon for Koba. So he gets to interact with auras at least this way now. And you get Angelic Gifts for Ian here. So that's the Descent Champion gets flying. We draw 2 cards of that. And Ian is going to tap out to play Alsaid of Life's Gift. Gets a forest of that, so can sacrifice the Alsaid to give protection to one of his creatures. That's a good start at least. So, Ian very much in the driver's seat here. A champion capable of taking over the game, providing lots of card advantage. Chillbringer for Koba will tap it down, so at least it doesn't get to attack for a turn. And the Brontodon gets to come in for a little rumbling. Okay. Ian has Koba tapped out from that Chillbringer, so he can commit something to the table here. We know he has that Hydra's Growth in hand, so I'd like to see him play that probably on the Hawk. Yes, Healer's Hawk gets a +1/+1 counter and will double the amount of counters on him from here on out. Draw a card from the Citizen Champion. But still, Ian is looking very comfortable. Chooses to play a second Healer's Hawk rather than represent both the Alsaid activation and a possible Kirametra's Blessing. I only see 1 red card in Koba's hand. But that does mean he gets to sack the Brontodon to target the Life's Growth. But it seems like Koba has different plans. And they cost 6 mana. Change of plans. No? Yeah. Dinosaur comes in, hits for 3, and now for 6. We have the Finale of Devastation. Finale of Devastation. X's 4 searches and finds his Thassa. Deep Dwelling. So he blinks the Chillbringer, taps down the Healer's Hawk wearing the Growth. Ah, the red card is a Scampering Scorcher. That explains. I thought it was a Scorching Dragonfire. He has Meteor Golem in hand though. And Meteor Golem plus Blink with Tossa will clean up this board, even through a bunch of options. Yalsaid only gives protection from a color. So can't protect against a Meteor Golem. All that glitters here on a Healer's Hawk. So that's plus 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4. That's a 5/5 little life linker there. So, still considering which attacks he wants to declare. And it's the champion and the glittering Healer's Hawk, or not? No, we get a Season of Growth first. Like I said, an instrumental card. It would have been better if he played that before the All That Glitters, but I assume he drew it off the Contestant Champion trigger from the All That Glitters. Is telegraphing that he has Karametra's Blessing ready to go. Koba has dropped to just 11 life, so has to look out for having his life ended prematurely. Even with that Meteor Golem, he would have struggled here because the Meteor Golem, at least one of the activations would have been prevented. And now he's looking at doing that with the Chillbringer, but I think that the Chillbringer's activation will hit a Karametra's Blessing, and we will see Ian go to game 3 here, snatch it away from Koba. Leafkin Druid for a extra trigger of the Risen Reef. Manages to keep the pressure on here though, but that lifelink is keeping Ian very healthy. Blinks the Chillbringer, neutralizes one of those, yeah, actually neutralizes the Healer's Hawk. So we currently have 8 power in the sky, but adding 1 enchantment to the board will remedy that, because it will be both a +1/+1 counter on the Contestant Champion and +1/+1 on the All That Glitters, plus whatever bonus the enchantment itself brings to the table. And it's going to be another Hydra. Yeah. Hydra's Growth. I think Ian has forgotten the Citizen Champions trigger here. And that's going. Is that going? Oh no, we have the Chillbringer on blocking duty at this point. So it wasn't going to be for lethal, unless he sacks the Al-Said for protection from blue. Citizen training. And I think he's forgetting the +1/+1 counter on the champion again. So the bottom healer's Hawk now has trample and +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 power, +3 on the Citizen Champion. So this would drop Kobe to 2. And I think had Ian remembered the triggers on his Citizen Champion, this would have been lethal no matter what. Sacrifices the Brontodon to destroy the all that glitters here. Ian in math, sacrificing it, cuts me an enchantment, can also give it protection from blue. Kobe still thinking apparently, no, yeah. Al-Said giving protection to the all that glitters. Trying to figure out the power of toughness. A Kirametra's Blessing will be lethal, yes. With Kobe tapped out, Ian comfortable enough to just go for the kill here and tosses it out. I do wonder if the 1/2 flying enchantment that makes auras 1 cheaper wouldn't be an interesting card to play in this deck. But looking at Ian's list, it's kind of all over the place already. So he seems to have problems fitting in everything he wants to play already. There's only 1 Gingerbrute, 1 Pious Wayfarer, 1 Angelic Light. The 1 Sentinel's Eyes is pretty fun though. It's one of the reasons that these decks have staying power. So Ian locks it up 1-1. In the meantime, we have our other match, Alan Tehan versus Boyan, running in the background. There's still no result there. That's food versus elementals. So in theory, food is more suited to win that match. So that would be Boyan advancing through to the final. It looks like our players are ready. I don't think either of them went back to their sideboards to change their minds on anything. Apparently it's very entertaining down there. And we have opening hands being shuffled back in the deck for Kubo already. While Ian seems to be, I was about to say, more happy with the cards he's been dealt in life. But no, both players are going to 6 cards. In the background, there's a Smash Brothers tournament happening, it seems like. And we saw that Runaway Together flashed to the camera for Kubo there. Actually, very happy to see Ian's deck do well. It's always nice to have more proactive decks in the meta game. It's the same with Cavalcade, but it seems like this deck has a lot more staying power than Cavalcade had. And is that Kubo going to 5? It looks like Kubo going to 5. That's quite unfortunate. Ian keeps his 6, put 1 on the bottom of his deck. I'm still confused by the fact that Ian is not playing CO now. He has 4 Season of Growth, 1 Shepherd of the Flock. That's the bounce adventure dude, right? Shepherd of the Flock, yeah. Let's have a look at his options there. 4 Alceid of Life's Bounty, 1 Barkhide Troll. That's a really good card together with the Hydra's Growth. Takes over the game very, very swiftly. Then 2 All That Glitters, 3 Hydra's Growth. Okay, that's 5. Yeah, 10. I do wonder if that Alceid of Life's Bounty is as necessary, because that's where the stress is in this deck right now. Seems like an interesting deck to build around with. Koba has found 5 cards he wants to battle with. He's on the play as well. And let's adjust the score to reflect reality. There we go. 1-1. We are in game 3 of the top 4. And again, Koba, no Leafkin Druids. And Ian has his Bronze Hide Lion. A watch, what was it? Watch Wolf, I think, with upsides. Kobe doesn't have a third land, it seems, and Ian gets a Season of Growth plus Sun Sentinel. No, Sentinel Eyes. And this could be a very, very swift ending to this match. Heliod's Pilgrim goes to search a Hydra's Growth. And things are looking quite dire for Kobe here. Alsate of Life for defense. And Kobe is still stuck on just 2 lands. Got that Leafkin Druid, so and a 4th land to make a red mana here. Cloudkin Druid to get back a little bit of that lost card advantage. Cloudkin Seer, not a Druid. But it looks too little, too late at this point. Comes in for 5. Kobe not trading his Cloudkin Seer for a card. On Ian's side, could have offered a trade with the Heliod's Pilgrim, which would have sacrificed at least the Alseid or a card from hand. And now we get the Hydra's Growth on the Pilgrim. And things are rough for Kobe. I don't really see how he will manage to skedoodle himself out of here. A Neoform to find a 4-drop. I think that will be his what's his face? The legendary, yes, Omnot. To destroy the Alseid, not giving Ian options here. I would have just targeted the Heliod's Pilgrim. Ah no, it's only 2 damage. Okay. Ooh, and a Scorching Dragonfire. Okay, that makes sense then. Can't type anymore. So Scorching Dragonfire, Kobe sequencing things here. To get at least the Hydra's Growth off the table. We still have that possibly indestructible Vigilant for a Lion on the board and a Season of Growth. 5 lands for Ian. How many lands is he playing actually? 16, 22 lands. 22 lands. Oof. Gideon Blackblade. which gives, I'm guessing, lifelink to the Bronze-Hide Lion. Another Alseid for protection and a Healer's Hawk. So Kobe is still back against the wall, now facing a very strong mythic on the table on top of everything he's already had to face. Can he string something together? He has a Teferi's Time Twist, so he can actually use that Omnat's ability again. But that's only 2 damage. That gets rid of Alseid and something else. No. In the meantime, we have a result from the other quarterfinal. Alan lost to Boyan, the unfavorable matchup as well, with elementals against food. So, Alan, on top of the boosters he got for making top 4, gets a deck box. Yay! I forgot I don't have a face cam, so showing the deck box doesn't really work. Thank you very much for joining in. Kobe versus Ian is in game 3, and Kobe is disgustingly mana screwed. And Ian's deck looks scarier than it looks on paper.
It is.
It's interesting for sure. I still don't understand that he's not playing Siona, but I agree with him. After looking at his deck list, trying to figure out how you're going to make your uncommons work is a chore. So Cooper trying to find an answer against both Bronze-Hide Lion and Gideon Blackblade with a Healer's Hawk hanging out while he's on 5 life, which happens to be the power of either Gideon and the Lion plus Healer's Hawk. And oh, by the way, he has 2 mana. So he has a chump block with a Leafkin and then a block with Omnat Blink with Time Twister, but that loses him his 4th mana source next turn. So he attacked Gideon, forgot the vigilance on that on the cat, had to blink, but now he only has 1 blocker left, but he got rid of the Healer's Hawk. So in this sequence he gets to keep his Leafkin because he's not trading here either, because Gideon only gives another creature. Okay, another creature. Indestructible. But Ian shows a flutter of all that glitters and Cetacean training and secures his spot in the final against Boyan. So we have Auras versus Food in the final. Those of you that thought that Elementals reigned supreme, that staggering insight was unbeatable, or that Gates is actually still king of the hill, you're all wrong. It's going to be someone else. Will it be Food or will it be Auras? Is Food now the new king of the hill, or do we have a people's champion in little beaters that get pants? Stay tuned.